And with us, el modo subjuntivo. This mood is used in Spanish a lot and mainly to express uncertainty, possibility, probability, needs or necessities. And when we see conditionals in Spanish, to express contradiction, a contradiction or contradictions, what we call in Spanish, when we say that something's contrafactico, from Latin, factico, fatum, factum, sorry. I looked up this word and I couldn't find it, how to say it in English, even in the Cambridge or in the Oxford dictionary. So let's use the word contradictions. But I repeat, as a conditional is a whole concept in itself, we'll see this when we see conditionals in Spanish. For now, let's see in general how the subjunctive mood works. We find exceptions in Spanish. There are exceptions within the rules, but they are used a lot too. Mainly, in these cases, the subjunctive mood sentence is introduced either by one of these coordinators or subordinators. Que is a subordinator, aunque, though, or although, and porque, because. Both are coordinators. In these cases, they express a fact, although as for grammar, we use the subjunctive mood that in general is associated to uncertainty, probability, and all that I said before. In these few cases, few because of the subordinators and coordinators, but a lot in use. You use them a lot. To express facts, it may sound weird, but we'll see this when we see exceptions. For now, let's see the rules, the generalities. Of course, we'll see two or three examples, and then I'm going to teach you how to conjugate the verbs in the subjunctive mood, and what for regular verbs, and what rules we follow. Let's see. For example, for instance, to indicate a need. Compare these two sentences. There is a huge difference between them. Necesito que venga tu padre. Tu padre viene. This one is in the indicative mood, modo indicativo. And when we have sentences in the subjunctive mood, they are always embedded into a bigger sentence, like this, that contains at least one verb conjugated in the indicative mood, like this one, necesito. This is modo indicativo 2, and this is modo subjuntivo, venga, subjunctive mood. So, I repeat, all sentences in the subjunctive mood in Spanish are part of a bigger sentence that contains at least one verb, one or more, but at least one verb conjugated in the indicative mood. So, tu padre viene means your father's coming now. So this is a fact. The second one expresses a fact, this sentence. This other sentence, the first one, expresses a need that someone has. In this case, me, not me in particular, the first person in the singular because of the ending. So it expresses a need of something. What do I need? That your father comes here. I need that your father comes to my place, for instance. So this is a fact because it's in the indicative mood. The fact is my need. And what do I need? I need this. That is not a fact. This is not a fact. This hasn't happened yet. Let's see another example, and then we'll get into the conjugation. Que llueva, está súper soleado, no hay ni una nube. It's impossible that it rains now because it's very, very sunny, and there is not even one cloud up in the sky. So this is something that has to do with impossibilities, something that is not possible. It's not possible that it rains. So this is a fact. The fact is that this won't be a fact. I mean, we are asserting that something is impossible. That's why it's in the indicative mood. And remember that in Spanish we don't use a pronoun here. In English you say it's impossible that blah blah blah. This is in the subjunctive mood because, as I said before, this is embedded into a bigger sentence. It depends on it. Subjunctive mood subclauses are dependent on bigger clauses. Then this is the indicative mood and the indicative mood again, because we are asserting something. Está super soleado. It's really sunny. It's very, very sunny. No hay. There aren't any clouds in the sky, or there is not even one cloud in the sky. Let's see how we conjugate. Let's get into conjugation. For now, let's see the present time. But when we see the past, if you bear in mind what we saw about irregular verbs in the past in Spanish. Sorry, it's very hot here. If you bear in mind something that I told you about, for example, the verb to know in the past, if you keep that root sup, supe, supiste, supo, etc., That will be very useful when we see the subjunctive mood in the past. But for now, let's see the present. If you remember, let's compare the indicative mood, modo indicativo, Let's compare this to modo subjuntivo so that you see, only for regular verbs today, so that you see how the root keeps being the same for both and what changes we have to do after the root. Let's see the typical verb amar. So I'm going to write the root first, as always. Well, if you remember when we saw the conjugation of what you call the simple present, presente in modo indicativo in Spanish, I love, you love, he, she loves, we love, etc. If you remember, yo amo, tú amas, él, ella ama, nosotros amamos, vosotros amáis, ustedes aman, ellos, ellas aman. I'm going to do something on purpose here because there will be a change, only a change in the ending for each pronoun. I'm going to write this, 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 and this. On the one hand, these endings, ese, mos, is, n, they are typical of these respective pronouns. The change will appear in the vowel that is throughout the conjugation. Amar and all regular verbs ending in ar change. In this case, we have to change the a in the root for an e in the subjunctive mood in the present. So there will always be an e throughout the conjugation when it's subjunctive, and the infinitive is ar. You'll see. Yo ame, tú ames, él, ella ame, nosotros amemos, vosotros améis, ellos amen, no, sorry, ustedes amen, ellos, ellas amen. So it's not that hard if you keep this in mind, except for the first person in the singular. All the rest of the pronouns in the indicative mood have the letter A. This looks like a Christmas sock on the fireplace. Whereas in the subjunctive mood, we'll always see the E. I repeat, when its ending is ar. In the other cases of ir, it's the other way around. We'll see it. We'll see the conjugation. We'll see both and ir endings because they follow the same model, which is easier to so in this way it's easier to learn these two endings. We had seen comer and vivir, to eat and to live. Well, I'm going to write both roots. Well, let's review the endings, las desinencias. Let's see if you remember. Yo como, yo vivo. Tú comes, tú vives. Él, ella come, él, ella vive. In the singular, they are exactly the same, I mean the endings. In the plural, there will be changes that have to do with this ir difference. Sorry. Comemos, vivimos. So the change is always in the vowel. In the plural, we respect this, not in the singular. Vosotros coméis, vosotros vivís, ustedes comen, ustedes viven. Well, in this case, it's and in these two cases, we keep the e for both. Let's see what happens in the sub. And I'm going to do the same as I did before with the R ending. I'm going to write the letters that we repeat or that we keep from here in red, and in green I'm going to write the ones that change. The opposite change, comparing it to the R ending. Yo coma, yo viva, tú comas, tú vivas, él coma, él viva, nosotros comamos, nosotros vivamos, vosotros comáis, vosotros viváis, ustedes coman, ustedes vivan, ellos, ellas coman, ellos, ellas vivan. As you can see, as I told you before, the change is the other way around. We have to change both E and I for an A here. So here, except for the first person in the singular, the E will be present throughout the whole conjugation. The same here. In this case, then I and then E again. Whereas in the subjunctive mood, the A will rule this part of the verb. The part that contains what we call in Spanish and in Latin, vocal temática. And in Romance languages, we speak of vocal temática, vocales temáticas. In this case, E, I are the vocales temáticas, and in the R ending, the A is la vocal temática. Finally, we'll see exceptions with que, aunque, porque, as I told you at the beginning of the video. Let's see. In some cases, as I told you at the beginning, we use the subjunctive mood to express facts, but as always, because as for grammar it's the subjunctive mood, that part of the sentence will be embedded into a bigger part. And it's very curious because in these exceptions the part that conveys the meaning of certainty is the one in the subjunctive mood, and the one that is probable is made by using the indicative mood. Sorry that I keep thinking, because it's sort of a mess for me too in my head in Spanish to choose the correct words. It's sort of a tongue twister. Let's see. Que estudies no significa que vayas a aprobar el examen. Well, this is a very mean person, the one that is speaking, and very pessimist, or just mean, because there is no need to say this, but this is just to understand how it works. Que estudies no significa que vayas a aprobar el examen. You've been studying. I know that you've kept on studying, so this is a fact that you have studied, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to pass the exam. So in this case, it's curious because this part is a fact. In English, you'd say the fact that you've been studying, so this is for true, for real, you have studied. In Spanish, we say que estudies, and it conveys the same meaning as in English by using your English grammar. This is in the indicative mood, but we are asserting something about which we don't know if it's going to happen or not. No significa que vayas a aprobar el examen. This person is mean because maybe the other person has studied, that is a fact, and maybe that he or she passes the exam. So there is an uncertainty about the future, indicated by using the indicative mood in Spanish. So these are exceptions because most times the subjunctive mood is used to express what we've seen before: uncertainty, needs, probabilities, possibilities, etc., wishes. But we use a lot these sentences, this kind of sentences, in which the meaning is the opposite. Pero de que estés aquí. In this case, this is in the indicative mood, indicativo, and this one in the subjunctive mood, subjuntivo, and both express a fact. Me alegro de que estés aquí. I'm happy or I'm glad, that is a fact, and you are here, that is a fact too. But in Spanish, this part preceded by que goes in the subjunctive mood. We don't say me alegro de que estás aquí, but more commonly we could, but it's very rare. You won't come to hear that. This is what we use. So I am glad that you're here, or I'm happy that you're here. But in Spanish, we use different moods. Me alegro de que estés aquí. Now let's see one with aunque, although, and with porque, because. Aunque esté lloviendo, voy a salir igual. Although it is raining, I'm going to go out the same. So both this one in the subjunctive mood and this one in the indicative mood are facts. Although it is raining, so we know that it is raining now, we are going to go out too. The same. And another example with two facts, but using porque this time. Well, with porque, we can use both moods. Both moods are common, but in this case, as I'm explaining the subjunctive mood, let's see it in this mood. Estoy preocupado porque mis hijos salgan todas las noches. I'm worried because my children go out every night. So in this case, this is a fact, and this is a fact too. So this is all for today, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a like, thumbs up, and subscribe to my channel, and see you in the next one. Bye bye.